Yeah, so currently, we had one of the most successful protests in Kenya, and these might have been resulted by the wide, or what we know, the Occupy everywhere, Occupy Parliament, Occupy the county government. But what was the motivation behind this? And for many reasons, protests are there to ensure that the government listens if it fails, or maybe when those who are elected are not able to present people. And these protests are used maybe to make an impact on the people. So I sampled maybe at least five most successful, some are deadliest protests that did happen in the world. Some are in terms of how aggressive they were, what they were able to achieve, in terms of how many people were able to take to the streets, so that to ensure that the government listened to their grievances. And in Kenya, I'm going to give a brief history where this something called Occupy, wherever Occupy, where it started. And 10 years ago, that is back in 2011, we had a protest that took almost 6 months in the USA. That was Occupy Wall Street. Um, the reason as to why, what led to this Occupy Wall Street, was due to the following reasons. We had economic inequality, we had corporate greed. This mostly was reserved there. The Great Recession in 2008, we had the big finance and influence of money in politics. Now, these youths were not feeling that. They say that 1% of the population was controlling, was in charge of how it led, and some were not happy with how the then President George Bush managed to do his things. So they staged a successful protest known as Occupy Wall Street, and currently Kenyans took that part, Occupy, and they decided that, we are going to reject the finance bill, and this is how we are going to mobilize people. So they said Occupy, and Occupy Parliament, Occupy all churches, Occupy everything, and it really worked. But what are those most successful protests that we know? And for example, I've given the example number one, Occupy Wall Street, given the reasons. That is among one of those successful protests. Um, Now, the second one that I'm going to focus in is the one that happened in India, which was about the farmers' strike. Now, India is not new to strikes by the farmers, and these protests, we know India is one among the countries which are most repopulated in the world, and this particular protest, 250 million took to the street, and even blocked some ways maybe to go to the New Delhi, to ensure that the government listened. This because the then country had proposed taxes which was aimed at regulating the agricultural sector, and this affected the farmers a lot. So they came out in street in big numbers and ensure that the government is not going to implement those changes. Now, the third one was the one that happened in Peru that resulted to 60 people being dead. The people took to the street due to political injustices, and it was a coup against the government. So 60 people were dead. Um, the fourth one was the one that happened in Iraq back in 2002. This was, I'm sorry, maybe this was due to when the then President George Bush decided that he was going to invade, Iraq, and this faced a lot of criticism, not only in Iraq but almost in the whole world, where, like for example, for instance, almost 1 million people in London took to the street to fight against the invasion in Iraq. Now, in Madrid, 1.5 million took to the street. Um, These were also at least 650 cities participated in this demonstration to ensure that USA was not going to invade Iraq because that was out of their jurisdiction. There's also another demonstration that took part in Iraq. This was against bad leadership because poor leadership and dynasties that they say that they used to inherit bad leadership, and also due to the worsening economic conditions. Now this was very bad. The next one was in Guatemala, and in Guatemala, why did the Guatemalans took to the street? Now this is the reason they claim that the government was eliminating budgets, was being a budget was cutting on health, education, and the social program, and also while they were removing the basic necessities to the people, they were increasing funds for the political affairs and for the politicians. Actually, this is the same thing that's taking part in Kenya. Now, the other one was the one that happened in Sri Lanka. Now, this was among the most successful protests in the world. They managed to enter into the presidential palace. They took selfies in his bed. They went in his swimming pool. They went in his gym and kitchen, and they used the tax. They enjoyed what their taxes were being effectively. Actually, the then president, who was called Rajapaksa, decided to manage to escape, and the prime minister, this successful demonstration led to the prime minister resigning. Now, what resulted to this demonstration? This was due to increased prices in fuel. We had inflation that had gone to 50%. We had shortages of food, energy, and medicine. Now, because of these shortages, people were really angry of the situation in the country, and they decided that, you know what, if the government is not listening to us, let us take to the street. Now, the president, the people actually came to the capital using trains, which were actually, with the fuel being high, they used that for free, and trailers, to ensure that the government listened to their voice. Um, the last one that I'm going to look was the one that happened in Kenya, which is the Reject Finance Bill. Now, this one was successful because there's no protest that has ever been done in Kenya, particularly that has ever been that successful. Back in 2023, the leader of opposition, Raila Amolo Odinga, organized or staged demonstrations and said they were going to parliament, but they were never managed to go to parliament. With this new breed of or of generation, or the political awakening of the youths, who say that they are not interested with the, the how parents have taken leadership, have been funny enough because they say they do not want to take the style. They have rejected dialogue because they say dialogue is used to divert their attention or to buy more time for political leaders. Um, Now, this has actually made these Gen Zs to stage a successful protest. They managed to enter into parliament to eat. Actually, they not match up with what actually happened in Sri Lanka, but at least it was one of the most successful, featured in CNN among international platforms. But for this finance bill to be rejected, the CSS to be fired, it took a lot. Some of them fall, but it is for the betterment of this country. So, welcome again. Let's meet next time. Thank you for your time.